What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here. You might be watching us on Twitch, you may be watching us on YouTube. No matter where you are watching us, thank you for giving us a little bit of your day, your night, your evening, your afternoon, wherever it is where you are at. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Jake Neverman. Jake, how you doing?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm excited about this show now. I was a little bit dreadful because I didn't know what we were going to talk about.
I mean, let's talk about that to start. We originally on the schedule had MLB because, there's the news that the Oakland A's want out of Oakland. They filed the paperwork. Unless they get a new stadium, they will be the Las Vegas whatever they want to be, because that's where teams from Oakland go. They just go to Vegas. There was also kind of a little, trade news where I guess people are linking Trevor Story to the New York Yankees. And then obviously there's old white men ruling baseball with Tony La Russa being manager of the year quality talent for the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, there's not really but those discussions are 2-minute discussions and then we're out.
Very hard to fill an hour with that kind of content. Then we went to the NBA and we're like, well, what's going on there? Well, there's play-in tournament games. Both you and I believe in the Adolph Silver, and that the play-in tournament should not even be happening.
Hey, I got August 8th to 17th is the Summer League this year.
So did they announce that date for sure?
August 8th to 17th in Vegas with 30 teams playing 5 games and a championship game on August 17th.
Ooh. Are there going to be fans there, though?
We don't know yet.
If there are fans, I really want to go.
It is Vegas, so I would assume so.
And hey, you and I are both fully vaccinated, so it's what else?
Correct.
What more can we do?
Correct.
So we didn't want to talk playoff matchups because we're going to be talking about that all on Friday with all 4 of us, Soapy, Dave, Jake, and myself, talking playoffs with our predictions and playoff matchups. So we didn't want to convolute that. There was also, what's the other discussion that we thought of? Oh, the Hornets. And I was like, well, we could have done, Jake brought up Hornets off season, but I'm like, I don't think we've done the Hornets draft one yet. And to talk about their off season, I really would mention their draft, and I don't want to kind of overlap on that, even though we could have just had Dave and Soapy do that one, so it's kind of 2 different opinions. And then Jake threw out a gem, an absolute gem, and I am going to, on Twitch, and you guys can see the video, but Jake, what was that gem you threw out?
Well, I remember back in the day, and Dave and Soapy gave me this idea yesterday because they went back and looked at a redraft of last year's draft, which is a bit too soon to do it, in my opinion. But talking about last year's draft is fun. They gave credit to Tyrese Maxey, as deserved, so I'll allow it. But I thought, I remember they used to do redrafts, and I'm pretty sure they did one last year, but they haven't touched the 2017 draft yet. And now we're about 4 years out. I think it's about the time that you can start looking back at drafts. And I was like, why don't we do a redraft of 2017?
I mean, it also makes sense because I was like, oh, let's see what redrafts we have done before. I don't want to redo one that we've already done. Literally 5 years ago, Sean, Dave, and I did one for the 2015 NBA draft. That was the one where I took Justice Winslow in the top 5. Then last year in April, we did one for 2016, the Ben Simmons draft. So it only seems right that we just keep the chronological order going and do the Markelle Fultz draft. We'll get into how we're going to do everything in a hot second. Let's get through the housekeeping first. Number 1, if you're watching us on Twitch, you only got 2 more days after today to watch us on Twitch as we are moving to YouTube full time. So go ahead and MVP Sports on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button because we'll be live over there as of Monday, the 24th. So that's the big number 1 on the housekeeping. Number 2, if you're not in the MVP Discord, you're behind the 8 ball. You can join today for free. Greatest community in the internet, in the universe, everywhere. Even aliens want to get in to the MVP Discord. Link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat gets you that link. And if you want to support us, patreon.com/MVP vids. We got bronze, silver, gold, and platinum levels for you to get rewarded for supporting us. If you can't, though, we do have, for Wet Boys, we have other things out there. But hey, if you want to support us, patreon.com/MVP vids. Thank you to Pat Hill our Patreon sponsor. And Jake, the rules for this mock draft is very simple.
Yeah.
There really are no rules. You can, obviously no trades. That's number one. We're not going to be trading because all trades are pre-made. So, for example, the number 7th pick was originally with the T-Wolves, and that was a part of the Jimmy Butler deal to where they swapped the picks, and the T-Wolves gave up their Lauri Markkanen pick at 7, and the Bulls took Justin Patton for them at 16. We're keeping all that the same. So, number 7, it's not going to be the T-Wolves picking. It will be the Chicago Bulls picking. So, if the pick got traded, it will be the owner of the trading team. So, Jake and I don't have to do any trades. Jake and I will alternate. Jake will start. He has the odd picks. I have the even picks. The only one where we did a little switcheroo was he's got the Wolves pick. I got the Bulls pick because there was no way I was giving up that Chicago Bulls pick. And is there anything else I'm missing?
I don't think so.
I felt like there was one more that I missed out on.
All right, King, nobody could win this is the thing. We're literally just taking players. That's not how you win.
Hey, I'll take it. If the universe wants to tell me I'm winning at something, I will take it. I'm a competitive person. But with that said, Jake with the odd picks. Number 1, your Sixers are on the clock. Do you still take Markelle Fultz?
No, I don't think you take Markelle Fultz. I think we talk about the guy who just dropped 51 points was his final scoring total in the playing game. You take a very Kobe-esque player. You take Jason Tatum out of Duke, the wing. Yep. The Celtics traded back 1 to 3 to get him. I think he's by far the best player in this draft. He's superb. He does everything well, and he's only improving as a defender. He's going to be a top 10 player for a long time in this league, and he's going to be probably... Honestly, I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame type player. So I think he's just a tremendous talent. He's so young, still improving, and he's as clutch as they come.
Yeah. So let's see. Do you know what? Do you want to edit the spreadsheet? So
wait, Dave said Kobe-esque puke. I'm sorry. Did you not just watch him play last night? It was a very Kobe-esque performance in how he played and how nobody else on his team besides Dave, I'll bring this up to you. Kemba Walker looked damn good last night. Kemba Walker looked really good. Mm-hmm. He beat a trash team who you've been sitting here praising for the last month of how they've played. And Tatum doesn't have his second best player, has no bench, and we talked about how the Celtics are a disaster. Tatum walked out and dropped 51 on them.
Yeah, so, the thing I will bring in from Twitch chat, Eric says, interesting, not Mitchell. Is that just because at the time we thought that the Sixers were zeroing in on a point guard, and that's why they went and got Fultz at 1 at the time?
Everybody thought Fultz was the consensus 1 in this draft. You listen to the podcast.
Not everyone. There were Lonzo Ball defenders like myself out there.
Well, they would have both been wrong on the consensus 1, but everybody in their mother would have said take Markelle Fultz with the 1 pick if you're the Sixers. So I'm not very shocked by why they took Markelle Fultz. Mm-hmm. I will give Fred a little bit of a pat. I remember him watching Jason Tatum play at Duke, and he's like, that's the guy. Like, that is the prototypical wing player you want. Yeah. And, yes, I would we'll get into this discussion with the 2 pick, but I would agree with Philly. Sean Tatum is a way better player than Donovan Mitchell. We saw the Jazz, while Donovan Mitchell was out for an extended period of time, still maintained the 1 seed, and we saw guys like Jordan Clarkson and Bojan Bogdanovic and Joe Ingles step in and play the same role he did just as well. So while Donovan Mitchell's been great and had clutch plays, Jason Tatum is a much, much better player than Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, and for me at number 2, Jake, with the Lakers on the clock. Oh, by the way, I forgot to put up a little graphic so people coming in know what we're talking about. Number 2, this one is an easy pick for me.
Yeah.
Because this pick, I don't have to worry about, okay, who's the roster, what's going on here, because this pick is going to be, it's either going to be included in the Anthony Davis trade down the line, or or am I going to draft someone to where I can trade Kyle Kuzma's dumbass when he goes?
I think you're just Kyle Kuzma wouldn't be on this team anymore, so because he's in this draft as well.
I don't know. Maybe I take him at 27.
You're the redraft. You're not predicting. You're just taking the best players in a different order. Most likely is what a redraft is. So I don't know if you're taking into consideration the AD LeBron trade because maybe things are different.
I'm taking in the future of how it did happen. Hindsight is 2020, and so this is one to where yes, I am taking into that where LeBron is going to come to the Lakers. We know that is going to be true. And to me, the top of my board looking back is either Donovan Mitchell or Bam Adebayo. Like, that's it right there. And here's the thought process going through my head, and we'll have this discussion before I make the pick, is also, by the way, I got to do one of these. I got to give myself a pat on the back, Jake, because I was one of the only people that was like, man, Donovan Mitchell's going to be a really good NBA pro. And he panned out to be a really good fucking NBA pro and should have went higher than what he is. I will ask you, if you were the Lakers, where would you go? Mitchell and be like, okay, future now, go like, this is the point guard. They went with point guard. They'll go with the best point guard here. Or, hey, I know LeBron is going to be on this Laker team. I know that I'm getting AD. Why not take a Bam Adebayo and then in the future pair Bam and AD up in that front court?
Yeah, maybe I'll just go rogue here. My opinion is I think Bam Adebayo is a better player than Donovan Mitchell, and I think Bam Adebayo's flexibility on both ends of the court, the ability that he has to control possession or be an offensive initiator as a big man as he is, adding on to his rim protection. We saw him block the shit out of Jason Tatum and help win the Heat a game last year in the playoffs. Bam Adebayo is a flexible player, play next to anybody. This is not a diss on Donovan Mitchell. I just think that Bam Adebayo's flexibility as a big and his mobility, he is one of the best defenders in the NBA. Very underrated defender, I think. People don't talk about him enough when you talk about the best defenders as a big man. I love Bam's game all around. He literally has no weakness. His shooting game maybe a little bit, but he's even improving on that. So I think Bam Adebayo is a tremendous player, and I love his fit on any winning team.
I mean, and also, even if you're being like, well, Ricky, you can't play in with the LeBron stuff because you can't see the future. Also, looking at the Laker roster, like, you have a point guard on the team, although like some people could say I'll play the two, with D'Angelo Russell. And, like, I can go ahead and take Bam Adebayo was where I was leaning. Because even if I was like, okay, we're going to keep him Kyle Kuzma style and we'll trade everyone else for AD, I can go ahead and match up where it is Julius Randle, the spin cycle, and Bam Adebayo down low with Zubat, Avaka Zubac coming off my bench. Although these players were nowhere near what they are this year for that Laker team, I think I would have to go with Bam Adebayo. That's the one I was leaning with. Mainly because of the LeBron reason. Like, hey, I'll keep Bam Adebayo in that trade, and then I will go ahead and move everything to where I basically have my front court of Bam Adebayo and AD to win me championships later on. But if you're out there saying, Ricky, you can't look at that hindsight because you can't see the future in 2017, I'm just going to go with Bam Adebayo, say, hey, you know what? D'Angelo Russell's my point guard. I'll move on having Julius Randle and Bam down low for the 4 and the 5.
Yeah, and that leaves me with the Celtics at 3 with not a long discussion. I think this is a top 3 draft, and then you have a little bit of a drop-off. I take Donovan Mitchell. It's not a very hard pick in my mind. Celtics still end up with a pretty good player and a pretty good wing. I'd be interested to see how he plays next to Jaylen Brown if the future would still hold the same. I think this draft is pretty easy. I think Jason Tatum's number 1, and then you have a drop in a tier, and you have Bam and Donovan Mitchell with however you prefer them 1, 2. But I think Bam and I think Donovan Mitchell on the Celtics would be an interesting fit, honestly. I don't even know. I'm interested to see how. The thing that I have a problem with him is the Jazz seem like a very team-oriented system, which is true, and their scoring seems pretty easy when it comes to whoever has the primary ball handling role is getting points regardless of who they are. Donovan Mitchell has the clutch factor, obviously, because in the playoffs we've seen him be clutch multiple times, but also so does Jason Tatum, which is why I rank him the level above that I do Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell and Celtics, it's the easiest pick so far at the number 3.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the talent lower on. Like, guys in this draft that will obviously be higher than where they were. De'Aaron Fox may move up a little bit, although he was at 5. You've got guys like maybe a Luke Kennard is higher than 12. Obviously, Mitchell and Bam are higher where they went 13, 14. Even if you look lower, like maybe a Jarrett Allen is not 22. OG Anunoby isn't a 23. But like, I'm looking also Kyle Kuzma is nowhere near 27, but like there's not a lot of guys that I'm looking at in this draft that's like, oh man, they should have been a top. Like, how did they go? Like, Bam and Mitchell are the only two, right? To where it's like, oh man, how was this guy not a top 10, not a top 5
Yeah,
pick?
I think your next pick is pretty easy. I already put it in the spreadsheet, but I think it's pretty easy to pick.
Who do you think it is for the Phoenix Suns?
Well, it has to be De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, that's who it was, De'Aaron Fox. Like,
yeah, it has to be De'Aaron Fox. He's the fourth best player in the draft.
All I had, not even that, all I had to do was look at, do you want to know the point guards on this Suns team after 2017?
Yeah, this is bad.
First off, Kentucky alum and south side of Chicago's own Tyler Ulis. Ronnie Price, the 11-year veteran out of Nicholls State and Utah Valley. And then Eric goddamn Bledsoe. I looked at that and I went, oh, De'Aaron Fox, it's easy. This Suns team needs a point guard. But really, you look at the rest of the roster and it's like, at the 2, okay, Devin Booker, he's your guy. At that time, your guy moving forward because he was only a sophomore. And then, like, they had TJ Warren, PJ Tucker. Dave's boy, Dragon Bender, was on this team. He was just a young rook at the time. And then they had Alex Len and Tyson Chandler at the 5. This one's easy. Like De'Aaron Fox, not even taking the best player, but I'm also taking a thing that needs the pick.
Yeah, I moved me number 5 with the Kings.
Wait. We're going to make one change because Kingy makes a good point. From now on, let's say who they originally picked.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll say originally the draft, number 1, Philly took Markelle Fultz. Yep. Number 2, the Lakers took Lonzo Ball. 3, Boston Celtics took Jason Tatum. And number 4, the Phoenix Suns took Josh Jackson.
So now we're at 5 with the Kings, and it's you. They originally took De'Aaron. He's not on the board.
He's not on the board. I'm looking at the Kings, looking at the best players available. I'm basically juggling between 3 different players, but I'm going to take Jonathan Isaac. I still think he has by far the most upside out of any of the remaining players. I think he is a tremendous wing talent, and he is also one of the best defenders in the NBA. This is a very good defensive draft if you look at the top players. Jonathan Isaac, I know he's dealt with his injury problems. I still would take him at number 5 here. I think he is just the best overall player still left and has the most impact left. I think once he gets out of Orlando or Orlando starts to build a better team, even next year, depending on where they draft this year, you're going to start seeing Jonathan Isaac's impact because this basically becomes his team now that everybody else is out of town.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Why?
And the reason why is I'm going to pull up here on my computer so I can basically see where everything is, because I believe in the top 10 of my mock way back then. I was one of the ones who, guess who I had Orlando going with in my mock draft, our final one that we did before the draft. Jonathan Isaac. And that would have been like, that's where I was leaning with my pick in this redraft, is I'm like, oh, Jonathan Isaac is there. Let me go ahead and just take him again. And then I heard you say Jonathan Isaac, and I literally went in my head, fuck. I don't know if I mouthed it out. I felt like I mouthed it out.
You kind of like looked back at yourself. I saw it.
Fuck. Because that just would have been that would have been the pick. Because coming out of FSU, is it weird that, also an aside, is it weird that in drafts recently, the guys out of FSU that have taken like in the top 10, Jonathan Isaac, a wing with length who plays good defense. Patrick Williams, who a wing with some length who plays some good defense. And then this year, everyone's talking about Scotty Barnes, who is a wing who plays good defense.
Yeah, I think you see that the recruiting at Florida State has they
have a type.
They have a type, if you want to go with that wording. I think, like, talking about Jonathan Isaac, I think he's a guy who can just about do everything. I'm excited to see him back on the court next year, especially with Markelle Fultz and whoever they get in the draft with Cole Anthony and how he's kind of asserted himself now. But yeah, the Kings here, I don't think they'd pass on him. I think he's just a great player overall.
Fuck, because so Orlando took Jonathan Isaac, obviously, when they originally made their pick. And now I'm looking at it. Oh, that's right. Devin Vassell, too. He was a FSU guy, too. I completely forgot. He started over Patrick Williams. Good catch there, Eric. But they originally took Jonathan Isaac. He's no longer there. He's the guy I would have taken. Still, like so many years later, I would have been like, okay, he's the pick for Orlando. And just to give some retrospect, do you have, Jake, if you had to guess who Dave and Sean, the We Agree podcast, had the same guy going to Orlando, who do you think they had Orlando taking way back then? Who?
Frank Ntilikina?
No.
Oh.
It's a wing player. He was already taken.
No, Josh Jackson wouldn't still be there. The moist one?
No, I gave you your hint. He's already drafted.
Oh, Josh Jackson. No, Josh Jackson already didn't get drafted. No. Was it Tatum?
It was Tatum.
Yeah.
Because all three of us had Tatum 5 and 6. I had him 5 to the Kings. They had him 6. And like that's the thing with the Magic, where I'm looking back at this roster, and it's like this is the Magic thing of like, let's just go with team length. Like that's the joke we used to make. Okay, who's the wing that's got the most length out there, who plays some defense? Like, would you go with that, or like would you go with like obviously BPA? But at this point, it's like looking back, who even is the BPA? Like out of everything, like I wouldn't say Lauri Markkanen is the BPA. Wait, what is it? Luke Kennard? Is Luke Kennard our
You're
BPA?
missing a clear BPA.
Give me a hint.
He's a free agent this summer.
He's a free agent this summer.
He's a restricted free agent that's been heavily linked with the Bulls.
Lonzo Ball. How did he fall this far? Yeah, Lonzo's the pick.
Yeah,
Lonzo's
I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, even with Phoenix, how would fucking De'Aaron Fox?
No, De'Aaron's better than Lonzo for sure.
But they're different. Like that's the thing. Like yet again with Phoenix, should I have taken Lonzo there?
No.
Because no. Just hear me out here. Because you have Devin Booker there, and the passing of Lonzo is better than De'Aaron Fox. Where does De'Aaron Fox and Booker clash to where Lonzo and Booker wouldn't?
No, I think Fox and him would be a good fit together. Okay. I think that'd be good.
Okay. Yeah, then Lonzo Ball's the pick here at Orlando. He would have fallen. If you didn't say anything, he would have fallen, because I fucking, like, after 2 and I made that Bam pick, completely forgot Lonzo Ball was a thing.
Yeah, we could talk a little about Lonzo because we can gush over. It's not like we've talked about Lonzo before on this show, have we? I don't think we have.
Oh, not at all, man. We never talk Lonzo Ball here.
Yeah, Lonzo got a lot of hate, came into the league as a good defender. Offensive game was a bit of a question, obviously, outside of his passing. His dribble drive game still questionable, but his shot is there, and it's improving every single year. And he's become somewhat of a sharpshooter now, which is crazy to think. I mean, he has wing flexibility. He's a point guard who can distribute well. He's just a point guard that a lot of teams would like, and we'll see. I'm very excited to see. He said the other day he'd love to be back in New Orleans. I think it's a bunch of malarkey, but maybe he would if he gets to stay playing with Zion and they get rid of Eric Bledsoe. So I'm interested to see this offseason for him. I think Lonzo Ball this draft is very top heavy. He has a lot of good players at the top. That's why he fell this low. But I think that'd be a steal at that point.
I wish you wouldn't have told me anything. I wish you wouldn't have told me anything. You want to know why? Because the Bulls are next, and the Bulls could have got Lonzo Ball in this redraft.
Oh, that wouldn't have been a fair redraft.
I would have absolutely I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, who's the next team? Minnesota, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's Chicago. Like, we would have totally gotten Lonzo Ball.
I just gotta say, somebody from this draft, Jalen Drooks, just absolutely hammered one down, and the Grizzlies are up 18-4.
Holy shit! Well, there goes that $5, right, Jake?
I didn't know they were wearing their black jerseys. I would have said the game was over before it started.
Dude, black jersey, like I think any team when they wear their black jerseys.
Well, I think it's their city jerseys, and they have the alternate home court logo. It's just over once you see that.
Oh, the Greg Ostertag logo, as I call it.
Yep.
Where because funny, when we were kids, we used to. I was like, Dave, you got to change your name to Dave Ostertag, because he was the center of the Utah Jazz. At the time when the Bulls were, winning championships. This season was not a good season for the Bulls. 2016, 2017. You had Jimmy Butler being a cancer in the locker room. Guys like Rajon Rondo coming to the defense of the young guys, which was weird because everyone saw Rajon as kind of a cancer, especially with his time with Rick Carlisle in Dallas. You had guys like Cristiano Was this year where, let's see, yeah, guys like Cristiano Felicio, Shrek, stealing a rebound away from D. Wade, which would have gave D. Wade a triple-double against the Cavs. Haven't forgot about that one, Shrek. This team was just bad. R.J. Hunter was on this team. Dougie McBuckets, Bobby Portis. Like, this was not a good year to be a Bulls fan, even though we made the playoffs. We made the playoffs and would have won a first-round series if Rajon Rondo did not get injured. I don't know where the Bulls go here. Like, Lauri Markkanen isn't yet again, it's probably as simple as Ricky take BPA. Lauri Markkanen isn't BPA, right?
No, there's two players.
Let's see if I can find them.
There's two players that I think are clear BPA now.
Is one of them OG Anunoby?
One of them is OG Anunoby.
And is the other one Jared Allen?
Nope.
Not Kyle Kuzma. Was he a second rounder? Am I going too deep? Not Thomas Bryant.
Was he a second rounder or what? No, he was not a second rounder.
So I'm going too far. So one was OG Anunoby. Who's the other one?
John Collins is secure. John Collins and OG Anunoby are clear. I think the next two BPA players.
Yeah, I think John Collins is. I'll go with John Collins as the pick. And the only reason I didn't bring up our mock draft from back then is because this was before that trade was even made for Jimmy. So we had Minnesota picking. I'm going to go with John Collins. And the reason why is Bulls went with Lauri Markkanen, who was a 4. I'm going to keep in the same vein of like,
I was going to say,
like you could have went with like OG wouldn't have been bad, but like then you're putting him on a team with, God, I got to remember, like, I think D Wade was gone after this year. We were getting rid of him. The other point guards were Jerrion Grant, Michael Carter Williams, and Cam Payne. And our other two guards, besides D Wade, was Denzel Valentine, Anthony Morrow, RJ Hunter, and Isaiah Cannon. Those were our 1 and 2 guards. So maybe people will say it's stupid because our 4s at the time, we had Nico, we had Bobby Portis, which those guys no longer on the team at this point. But even looking at hindsight, John Collins is way better than both of those two combined.
I think John Collins is literally what you wanted Lauri Markkanen to be. So I think he's a scoring 4 who's lackluster on defense, but he can
too.
Yeah, he can stretch the floor and he can score buckets, and he's literally a walking bucket. So I think John Collins would fit perfectly into what they wanted at the time.
Yep, and then so I've got a question here for 8 because this is the last one of my 1, 2, 3. The New York Knicks at the time took Frank Ntilikina. Right? Did I say that right? Fuck it. I said
no,
it wrong.
You didn't.
Frank the Tank, basically. At the time, Sean had them go Frank. I had them go Dennis Smith Jr., and Dave had them go Malik Monk.
So you're just playing Nostradamus because Dennis Smith Jr. ended up on their team eventually.
Yeah, I did. That's another one that I patted myself on the back.
Let me just say, it's Frank Ntilikina.
Ntilikina.
See,
like, I knew what it was. Like, that's what in here it sounded like. It was like, okay, how do I get what's here out of this dumb hole? Which just didn't help. Here's the question I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you draft Markelle? How far does Markelle Fultz fall because of his injuries?
You draft Markelle Fultz over OG Anunoby. There's just no.
I'm just saying because at the time, I'm trying to go back in time here. At the time, we were sitting here going, we know the Knicks are taking a point guard. They were lasered in at taking a point guard.
I understand that. A redraft to me is just taking the best player available with the resources we know now.
So it's just a
New York City. New York City would have died with Markelle Fultz and how he started his career, and he would no longer be a Knick. So I think OG Anunoby, with his wing flexibility, his ability to step in, is just the absolute pick. That's just me.
You're not wrong. That's the thing. Like, and
you're not wrong. You didn't have to say it, but you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. But where's the spiciness in that? Who would even be? Because let's see. Let's look at this. Who was on this roster at the time?
Why don't they pair Tingus Pingus with Lauri Markkanen? Come on, 2 tall, white, like overseas guys. That would be just. Well, that would be the most.
Lauri was like. So Lowry originally was
They
from
originally
overseas.
took Frank
He did
Ntilikina,
play at
by the way. We didn't
Arizona.
say. They
Yeah.
originally took Frank Ntilikina.
I said that they originally took
you did?
Frank.
Okay. I missed it.
Because I fucked up his name.
Oh, yeah, okay. Short-term memory loss, my bad.
So let's see. Their point guards at the time, the season before, Derrick Rose, funny how he's back, Cassian Randall, and Brandon Jennings. And their two guards were Sasha Vujacic,
Sasha Vujacic,
Justin Holiday, Courtney Lee, and Ron Baker, shot taker, Jake. Yeah,
oh
OG
my God.
OG Anunoby's the pick, but really, I like. There's one that I was like, I'm trying to find something that's spicy, but I can't do it. Oh, you're right. OG Anunoby's the pick for the Knicks, and that brings you into what? Dallas is the next one.
Dallas is the next one. Originally, Dennis Smith Jr. I don't know on that one. I just know.
So at the time, Dave and Sean said Lauri Markkanen. Or I'm sorry, Dave and Sean said, Sean said Dennis Smith Jr. Dave and I said Frank the Tank here for Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with BPA, not going with fit. I know I think Jared Allen's a pretty safe pick here. I think Jared Allen's a very solid NBA center. I think he fits pretty well into what they kind of wanted at the time. Obviously they ended up with Porzingis a couple years later, but I think Jared Allen's just a very compact center, and he's very good and knows what he's good at, and he's also extending his range a little bit now, so he's growing into more of a complete center. He's probably going to get some batshit crazy money this offseason, but I think he's a very solid pick. I think he's the BPA, and I think the Mavericks would actually have a good center, which is something they've lacked, or at least a consistently healthy one since then.
Coming up next, this pick was traded. It was originally Sacramento's before the draft, but on draft night, they traded their pick to the Portland Trail Blazers and got 2 picks later. Originally, the Blazers took Zach Collins with the pick. For me, if I'm going yet again, I'm putting my mindset of like, are there any 4s that would be better than... First off, I'll ask you this. Just yes or no, but like a little bit of explaining. Zach Collins isn't the next best available at the 4, right?
No, there's a next best available Thor. Even if you don't like him, he's still the next best available.
Or is it Kyle Kuzma? That was
it's Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Lauri Markkanen's the pick. Why do I overlook guys that we like that were already drafted? And I was like, oh nope, can't look at them. Got to look lower because like Thomas Bryant's out there, Kyle Kuzma's out there. I don't think Harry Giles would be the pick. He's below those two.
Yeah, not Harry Giles.
Lauri Markkanen, easy. Like, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. He just fits in. The only difference is, and fucking Portland fans might still do this, is I'm taking away one injured-riddled big and giving you another injury-riddled big.
He said, Eric said who went. Originally, we already said it. Oh, who went 7? Who went 7 was Lauri Markkanen. It was the Bulls pick.
Lowry.
So, do you have anything else, or should I move on to the Hornets?
I mean, should I not have...
I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about Lowry and how I think
it's just one of those things where looking back at Lowry, and yet again, should I not? Oh, he meant in the mock draft. John Collins went 7 to the Bulls.
Yes.
So here's the only reason why I'm not confident in making this pick of Lauri Markkanen is because of what I just said. Like, am I really helping the Blazers here? Because I'm just taking away one injured-riddled big and giving them another injury-riddled big. Like, Lauri Markkanen was good this year. Career numbers has improved, but he still is not... Like, this is a team that is different than the Bulls, is going to have, even with Lauri Markkanen, is going to have a different timeline than the Bulls because Dame and CJ are going to bring them to playoffs. Maybe Lauri Markkanen gets to play in playoff series now. As a part of the Portland Trail Blazers, but what's it gonna mean if he's not out there on the court? Like, that's why I was thinking, should I have gone with either a different player who'd be BPA overall or a different 4 that might have been able to help them because he would be more healthy?
No, I think Lowry's health issues, they can get figured out at some point, and I think him actually playing with a real point guard in in Portland, and he's basically a perfect fit next to Yusuf Nurkic and what they want in a four.
Okay.
He's a little bit inconsistent as a shooter, but I lay his inconsistent shooter down to his inconsistent looks and how some games he doesn't get a single open look because the team doesn't have a point guard, and it hasn't had a point guard basically since he's been on the roster. So playing him with two good distributors and CJ and Dame, I think would be a huge help to his game and would help him grow faster than he did in Chicago.
Good point. Like that's just a thing. The injury thing. Also, is it just the Chicago medical staff? If I could speak properly, that like is that the main problem? Towards like, oh, it's
Could
just
be.
them. The next one is the Charlotte Hornets, and it's all you, bud.
This is where he's going to stop falling. I'm going to take Markelle Fultz. I know he's had the injury issues and everything dealing with it, but I think, first of all, I think him and Kemba next to each other would have been interesting to see. And second, I think that he still played incredible this year when he was healthy. I know he tore his ACL, but it's still worth the risk in my mind if he could get healthy and how good of a guard he can be. So I think the Hornets kind of, Kemba's probably on his way out, as we know now. He definitely was. But, he's getting at the end of his contract. You can pair him and Fultz together in a backcourt, and, maybe he ends up staying and things change. But you don't know. I just think Markelle Fultz at this point has to stop falling.
At the time, Sean had the Charlotte Hornets go with Harry Giles. They went with the moist one. I don't know if you said that.
Malik Monk.
Hornets went with the moist one. In our mock at the time, Sean had him go Harry Giles. Both Dave and I had them go with Zach Collins out of Gonzaga. I was interested to see how far. Like I was thinking in my head, I was like, do we go all 30 picks and Markelle Fultz doesn't get drafted?
Let me say, for people watching this redraft, there is a drastic drop off in in the players in about 7 to 8 picks. So the pick explanations might get a little bit shorter in a couple picks because there's definitely a fall off.
Well, and like with Markelle, the one thing and yet again, I'll just ask this is how much does. Yes, hindsight's 2020 with these redrafts. How much of how his career played out and the injuries and everything go back to like if you were looking at Markelle and you're like, okay, that's probably what you're gonna get. Would you even want to take that in the first round?
Yeah, especially with the talent, how much there is a drop off in this draft and his potential, I still think, and maybe it's different if he goes to Charlotte. Maybe he doesn't get the yips or get in a motorcycle accident, not confirmed, but confirmed, and ruin his shoulders. So you never know. I think things could work out differently. I think you take the risk at 11 or 12, wherever we are, and you hope that it turns out different, and you have a point guard if Kemba does leave.
Because like the one thing I look at, and yet again, this is. Not me saying like, oh, I wouldn't have taken him here, but just kind of food for thought. Like Malik Monk still on the same team he was drafted to. Luke Kennard would have if the Pistons didn't trade him. You've got guys like, let's see, John Collins, but yet again, he'd be better. Let's see, Jared Allen got traded. OG Anunoby is still on the team. He got drafted by Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, like. There are guys that's like, okay, you would have had him still at this point. Josh Hart's an interesting one. He got traded. He is not still on the same team. He got drafted by because he was a part of the AD deal. I just thought it was interesting with Markelle, and everyone's different. The talent was there. It's just, yet again, you said it, in a redraft, if he goes somewhere else, does that timeline not happen? And are we basically living in an alternate reality because this is a brand new draft?
Yeah, I would think that you have to, in a redraft, you still have to take in some of the career perspective of what happened, but I think you have to overlook it a little bit and kind of see through the talent and how they performed when they are healthy and hope that they're healthy if they go to a different place.
Yeah. The next pick is Soapy's Detroit Pistons. They took Luke Kennard with this pick. Luke Kennard, who is now not there. He is in Los Angeles because they traded him to the LA Clippers. At the time, yet again, I'm calling a pat on the back because Sean and Dave said Donovan Mitchell should have been the pick here for the Pistons. Guess who I had the Pistons drafting in that mock, Jake? Luke Kennard. I got this pick right on the head, baby. That's who they went with. And that's the thing. Do they just go with Luke Kennard again years later?
No. No.
Let me guess. There's a BPA out there that Jake thinks they should take.
There's about 7 players better than Luke Kennard still left in this draft, so definitely not Luke Kennard.
Because this team had, so at the 1, they had Udrich, Ish Smith, the GOAT, Reggie Jackson. The 2 guard, they still had KCP on this team. They had Marcus Morris, Stanley Johnson, Reggie Bullock. John Lure was on this team. Tobias Harris, Henry Ellison, Andre Drummond, Aaron Baines. The Baines train was on this team.
I count 6 players that I think are better, Dave, just so you know. I'm not going to say them all because I don't need to give Ricky hits, but I count 6, maybe 5. One's a leeway.
Here, I'll ask you this. Is there a position here that you think the Pistons should draft, or is it just straight BPA?
Nah, it's just straight BPA to me. The Pistons just need talent.
You took Jared Allen already, right?
Correct, yep.
And OG Anunoby's off the board. So let me guess. You think Kyle Kuzma's better?
Correct.
Do you think Josh Hart is better?
Correct.
Do you think... is Derek White better?
Yes.
In your mind? Okay, that's 3. Thomas Bryant, I'm guessing you
Nope.
have? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, Jalen Drooks.
Yep.
I don't
know if you'll get the other 2.
That's 4. Are they second rounders or first rounders?
One's a first, one's a second.
It's not Frank Jackson?
No. No.
One's a second?
One is a second.
Dwayne Bacon?
Definitely not Dwayne Bacon.
Hey, unless I'm missing, who's the one in the second?
Monty Morris is definitely a better player than Luke Kennard.
And the one in the first has to be...
Definitely, the one in the first dealt with injury issues, but when he's healthy, he's definitely better.
Harry Giles.
No, Zach Collins.
Oh, that's right, Zach Collins. Fuck it, I'm going to keep it the same, Luke Kennard.
Luke Kennard.
Like yet again, at the time, I liked it. The moist... No, never mind, the moist one. The moist one here. Philly Sean, saving me right on the moist one is the pick. He is the best 2 guard, and that's obviously what they were looking for. And Malik Monk could shoot the hell out of the basketball. I'm sorry, Luke Kennard, but the moist one, he is the pick here for the Pistons at number 12.
Yeah, it's a fair pick. I mean, I wish Dave were here to, bring about.
Dave says, Jake, you underestimate Kennard.
Well, he's not even in their playoff rotation, so no, I don't think I underestimate him. So
they're a good team, that's why.
Well, if he's as good as Dave is saying, he should be able to be a bench player on a good team.
But like Retro even said in the Discord, it's hard to find all their guys' playoff minutes.
If the guys are good enough, they get minutes regardless if you can find them or not. And it's all I've heard this year. I like Luke Kennard. It's not even that I don't like Luke Kennard, okay? It's not that I don't like Luke Kennard, but he was signed to a $64 million contract, didn't play for like half a season. Then they're like, oh, now he's found his groove for like 15 games, and now he's not playing towards the end of the season. So miss me with that.
Yeah. Next pick. You've got the Utah Jazz are on the clock because Denver traded them the pick. They took Donovan Mitchell with this pick.
Wildly that Donovan Mitchell went this low. I think it's just BPA. I'm taking Derek White. I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He's definitely a lottery pick in this. What's it called? In this draft, and I think he was like in the 91st percentile or something for like points per shot attempt in the last season. So he's a good player overall, a solid player, and definitely good enough to land 13th.
I don't know if I like this pick because like that's the thing where I'm bringing in Utah and Miami together here because they are clear losers of a redraft.
You think
they are losers of a redraft because
like the second and third picks.
Like Pat Riley's sitting there going, why are you basically not blaming, but punishing me for being a good drafter here? Bam Adebayo, great pick for the Miami Heat. Donovan Mitchell, great pick for the Utah Jazz. Just want to say, by the way, and I know Dave loves to do this, so I'm going to do it as well. I'm going to toot our own horns because during the draft process, I was high on Donovan Mitchell, fucking hitting the NBA. Dave was high on Bam Adebayo, fucking hitting the NBA. Jake, you and Soapy will have your hits as you have just joined the MVP team this year. I'm just going to say, if you draft content, we have the receipts, Jake. We have the, like, that's why I'm also glad we're doing this, because we're showing you we have the effing receipts of why we are good at this and are good. Like, NBA teams should just hire us, right? They should just hire us to be their scouts.
I mean, some should, some shouldn't. The Kings might want to, but their new front office got their first pick, right? But, like, yeah, some front offices need some help. David Griffin's there walking blind through this rebuild, I think.
Now you're going over to the Pelicans? You jump ship from the Kings to the Pelicans?
Yeah, we're just going and trashing everybody.
So, the reason why I'm bringing the Heat, I have that pick, but kind of the same thing with the Jazz. Like I said, they're clear losers, because with the Heat in my mind, I'm sitting here going, what, Zach Collins would be the pick, but man, that is a drastic downgrade to what they actually picked in this redraft. I get it's the point of a redraft as that happens, but I think Zach Collins would be the guy that I go with here.
Zach Collins is a solid pick. I think, yeah, he's around. If he could figure out his injury issues, he'd be a lot better. He just
and that's the thing with the injury issue. Should I go with a Thomas Bryant over Zach Collins because of the injury issues that Collins has had?
I think he made the right pick.
Okay, so Zach Collins to the Heat. They originally took Bam Adebayo. I will say with the Heat, Sean would have been right in the redraft. He did have the Heat go with Zach Collins. I had Lowry market into the Heat. And Dave had a little boy out of UCLA in TJ Leaf.
Did you see the chat?
No.
They said, yes, you have receipts, the Jaylen Brown receipts. Those are not good podcasts.
Okay. We did miss on, like, Jaylen Brown, I have come out and said I missed on, okay?
Yeah, you could admit when you're wrong. That's a good
I have said this before. I've said this to JD. Go back and listen. I never said Jaylen Brown was bad. From my side, I was like, go back to college for a year. That doesn't mean you're bad. That just means, like, put it this way, too. And I'm talking about for me. I can't talk for Dave or Sean. But for me, technically I was right. He needed a little bit of development. It just happened at the NBA. I thought it should have been in college. That's where I was wrong.
Fair.
But yeah, I thought it was a bad pick. And it ended up not being a bad pick. But I was right in the end.
So I'm up with the Kings. Originally, this was Portland's pick, traded to Sacramento. It was just Justin Jackson, went 15. I'm going to take Kyle Kuzma. He's fallen too far now. I would have taken him before Zach Collins. Streaky shooter, but he's very good at scoring, and he's a very good extra piece on a winning team. He's proven that. So I think I think it's a pretty easy. I think it's a pretty easy pick. I think he's by far the BPA. I don't know if you have anything to add on Kuzma.
I love this pick, and the reason why is I would not have to hear the confidence of Kyle Kuzma because he'd be on a shit organization in the Kings, and guess what? He would have never got a ring. So I love this. I love that Kyle Kuzma would have never got a ring, would be able to rot in Sacramento just where he belongs.
Okay. I'll move on to 16 is the Wolves via the Bulls. This is in the Jimmy Butler trade. It was originally Justin Patton. Great pick there, T-Wolves. Great pick. He was included in the Jimmy Butler trade to the Sixers, actually. And the Sixers cut him. So great pick there. I'm going to go Monty Morris there. I think he's one of the best backup point guards in the league. Very quietly, again, having another solid season. I think it's a pretty easy pick.
So let's see. You're going with Monty Morris, who's a 2 shooting guard or point guard?
Combo.
You really think he's the next BPA, like over a Josh Hart?
Yep, I do. Why? Monty Morris had solid season after solid season scoring off the bench on good splits. So
is this just a weird Jake thing? Because
why is it weird that I like a backup point guard better than Josh Hart?
Okay, I mean just in general. Like, I don't think
Josh Hart's been horrendous this year. He's shooting like 32% from three when he's supposed to be
1 year. 1 year, we're going 1 year. Would you like yet again point guard point guard wing? Would you think about Jalen Brooks here?
No, I think Jalen Brooks is a little bit down for me. Monty Morris has had his lowest shooting percentage off the bench has been 47%, and the games he actually played, because his first year he only played 3 games, didn't really play that much. Then he played 82, 73, and 47. He shot the lowest, his worst year. He averaged 9 points per game with 3.5 assists, and he shot 46% from the field and 38% from 3. So he's just a very solid player overall. I think he's pretty underrated because people don't talk about him. He's one of the best backup guards in the league.
Maybe I'm just low on him. Maybe it's also because I'm trying to think. I don't even know what team he's on right now at the moment. I think I have an idea, but he's on Denver still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Because he plays for Denver, and because guess what? What have I said about Denver, Jake?
What?
Casuals like to do what?
Not talk about Denver.
Talk about Denver. Not focus on Denver. Not even focus on Nikola Jokic, who is the MVP of the league.
Yeah, I think you're pretty low on him. Yeah, I'll go with that.
You've got the next one, right?
The Bucks. Sorry, I'm gonna move on because I don't want to talk about you not knowing him anymore.
I just forgot 17... who he fucking was.
What?
Monte Morris. It's like, oh, that's right. He's in Denver. That's why, because he's a bench player on Denver, and he's not Jamal Murray or Nikola Jokic or Gordon or MPJ.
Yeah, he's just one of the best bench players in the league. But we'll move on to the next player. The Bucks at 17 took DJ Wilson originally. This is where I'll take Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart's a good wing. If he can find a shot again after this year, hopefully he'd fit very well into the Bucks system. I think it's a seamless fit as a 3-and-D wing, getting open 3 shots, playing with Giannis on the Bucks.
Yeah, at the time, because this was one where the pick was actually kept, Sean and I agreed. We both had Jarrett Allen go here. Dave had somebody who, now I do have to say, for people who are going to be like, why did Dave have this guy go here? Dave loved this boy. He loved it. This was one of like Dave's late round darlings that he loved, or I should say, late round athletic freaks that Dave falls in love with. Do you remember Ike out of UCLA?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I don't remember how to say his last name. Was it Anjabui, I think it was. Yet again, fucked it up. But Dave, I saw that name on the spreadsheet, and I was like, oh, that's right. Dave absolutely loved him. And a bogey. See, I can read, Jake. Reading is fun.
I'm letting you fall on your own.
Ike Anabogu out of UCLA. I saw that name, and I was like, that's Dave's guy. That's one of Dave's guy from 2017.
Yeah, no. Just no. He only played like 2 years in the NBA, and he was horrendous.
Oh.
Well, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Was that a you thing? Was that a you thing?
Yeah, that was a me thing. I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think no, just no.
So the Pacers are next on the clock. They originally took TJ Leaf. Wrong
TJ. They got the better TJ now.
Yeah, they got the better one now, the GOAT. At the time, all 3 of us had different picks. Sean had Justin Jackson out of North Carolina. Dave had Tyler Lydon out of Syracuse.
My guy, Tyler Lydon.
Going to the Pacers.
He hit the 1-shoe step back 3. What a guy.
I'll say out of the 3 prospects, I had the one that panned out here. I had John Collins going to the Pacers at 18. Here's the thing with the Pacers. Like, John Collins is obviously off the board now. He would have been on the board at the time. He's off the board. I'm not going TJ Leaf. I'm not going Harry Giles. Like, there's something to where it's like, with this pick, do I go with somebody who would be a BPA and is going to be taken a lot higher than where he was originally taken? Or if you're the Pacers here, do you still in a redraft go, you know what, we got to draft them a 4? They went with 4. That's what we're going to go with. What would you do? BPA overall or drafting them a big guy?
Ricky, what is my motto?
Oh, I know the motto. I just want
BPA overall. BPA overall. Always the best player available. Just depends who your best player available is on your board.
Yeah, because they had, so their bigs down low, they had Thad Young and Miles Turner. Also, they had Rakeem Christmas on this team.
Another Syracuse legend.
I almost said R.I.P., but I remembered this time that it's Fab Melo that died, not Rakeem Christmas. They had my boy that I used to love joking around with Sean because Sean hated him from ISU, George's Niang. Obviously, Paul George on this team at the time, Lance Stevenson, Jeff Teague. BPA's the pick. I have a guy in mind that I think I'm going to take, so that's why I'm going to ask you, who would be your BPA here?
I'm trying to get him at the next pick. I'm not telling you who my BPA is.
No. I'm zeroed in on a guy. I'm taking a guy. I just want to know.
You tell him and tell him. I'll tell you if he's my BPA.
Jalen Drooks.
Yeah, okay.
I'm taking Jalen Drooks here. Just taking the best player on the board. He's a wing because.
But now he's Dylan Brooks.
Now he's Dylan Brooks because he's not on the Memphis Grizzlies anymore. He's on the Indiana Pacers. He's the pick here. You just take the BPA guy because your team is already stacked and it's a playoff team.
Yeah, I think it's a fair
I say
pick.
Stacked, but they were only the 7th seed.
Yeah, it's a fair pick. At 19, the Hawks also get screwed over by the redraft. They took John Collins at 19. I am reaching into the undrafted pool for the first undrafted pick of this draft. It's Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher is a very good center. Obviously, a little bit older. Took him a couple years to develop, but getting him at 19, if you can spend those couple years and develop how he has, he's a great pick. He's been a very good role player for the Raptors for now almost 2 years.
So back in the day, Sean, Dave, and I had the same guy going to the Hawks.
Yeah.
I will give you this. He got cut by your team.
Cut by my team?
Yeah, that's what you said. He was in the Jimmy Butler deal. Got
Justin
cut.
Patton. Yeah,
we all had Justin Patton out of Creighton going to Atlanta. Like, Atlanta was taking a big. That's just like, it was New York going with point guard at the time. Atlanta, we all had a big going to them. And this one is yet again with the Heat and the Jazz where they just get fucked by the redraft. Number 20, who did you have the Kings go with already? They've had one pick already, right?
Yes, the Kings already went with Kyle Kuzma and Jonathan Isaac, so they got a 3 and a 4, or it was either way you look at it.
Yeah, a 3 and a 4. So I'm not gonna go with a big here. They went with Harry Giles originally. There's a guy I'm thinking about, but I want to just see really quick. I think I'm going to go with Josh Hart.
Yeah, well, I already took him at 17, so you can't.
Oh, fuck. I didn't realize that.
Took him with the Bucks.
Who's available that's not... Let's see. OG Anunoby's taken. Terrence Ferguson's on the board.
Thomas Bryant's still there. Dennis Smith Jr. is still there. Frank Ntilikina is still there.
Oh, Luke Kennard.
You already took him.
Did
you already take him?
No, I switched it. Malik.
Oh, no, yeah, you switched it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Luke Kennard, baby. Luke Kennard has to go. Luke Kennard has to go here. Because for some reason he's still on the board. Also, Dennis Smith Jr. is still on. Like, Dennis Smith, Frank. I'm just listing off these top picks. Dennis Smith is still there. Frank Ntilikina is still there. Zach Collins went. Yeah, those are probably like the two best BPAs that we probably should have taken. I should have probably taken one of them here.
I think our Luke Kennard fall.
I'm gonna go Luke Kennard. That means you are next on the clock, my guy.
And that was originally Harry Giles, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
21 was originally Terrence Ferguson. I am going with Tony Bradley. He's currently on the team now. He's had a very solid year this year. Obviously, he started the year with the Sixers. They had him do kind of extreme weight loss, and he looks like a completely different player now that he's kind of lighter on his feet.
Yeah, this was one where Sean nailed the pick at the time. Sean went with Terrence Ferguson. I went with Tyler Glyden, or as Tyler Lydon, out of Syracuse. Dave went with Justin Jackson. Neither Dave or I hit on that one, but the Thunder, this was an interesting one because this was the KD Thunder, right? Or am I?
No, he was on the Warriors.
He was on the Warriors. Okay, you're right. At this time, he had just left.
He left in 2016.
So this was after the first year of the Russ-led Warriors, or the Russ-led Thunder is what I meant to say. If I could speak English,
you'll get there.
The Brooklyn Nets are next, right?
The Nets via the Wizards. The pick was originally Jared Allen, another team that kind of gets screwed over by the redraft.
Yeah, he's already taken in this one. At the time, Dave nailed the pick. Dave had Jared Allen going there. I had Ike out of UCLA. Sean had John Collins going to the Brooklyn Nets. Let me see their guards really quick at the time. Because, the Nets, to me, this was a team like they were a bad team. They only had 20 wins at this point, so it's obviously not the Nets that you're thinking about right now. I don't know if I want to go Thomas Bryant or let's see. Oh, their starting point, their best point guard is Spencer Dinwiddie, right, Jake?
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Their point guards were Isaiah Whitehead, kid I liked out of Seton, Grievous Vasquez, Jeremy Lin, Yogi Ferrell, Spencer Dinwiddie. Then at the 2, they had Sean Kilpatrick, Joe Harris, Archie Goodwin, and Randy Foye. I gotta go Dennis Smith Jr. here.
Yeah,
I think I go different than what they did because Jared Allen's not there. And if a Dennis Smith Jr. is there, they need somebody to handle the ball. I know they got Jeremy Lin, but Jeremy Lin, it was not the New York Jeremy Lin here. Spencer Dinwiddie is a bench guy. I go with Dennis Smith Jr., and you could say maybe that's an upgrade for them because of how Dennis Smith Jr.'s career has gone. But hey, maybe it's different being on the Brooklyn Nets coming out of college. So I'll go Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah, and I got the Raptors at 23. They originally went OG Anunoby. I'm going to go with another flexible wing. I'm going to go Josh Jackson. I think Josh Jackson has fallen pretty far. He's shown some kind of a light at the end of the tunnel this year with Detroit, and he's been pretty solid. So he's still a pretty young wing in the NBA who's very good defensively, and his offensive game continues to grow. He could still he just had some problems off the court. # we stay on the court. In his early career, obviously in Phoenix. So he originally went 4th. He falls all the way to 23 in a redraft, but he still has a bright future if he can stay healthy and stay # on the court.
At the time, Sean had Tyler Lydon. I had Jawan Evans out of OK State, and Dave took Terrence Ferguson here. Next is Denver, right?
Correct. Yep, via the Jazz. The pick was originally Tyler Lydon out of Syracuse. This Denver team was not a playoff team, if I can remember. They have Jamal Murray. You know what I'm going to do here? What?
I'm going to be kind of... Because, like, they have the structure of the team that is a playoff team now, like Jamal Murray. They still got Will the Throw Barton here, Nikola Jokic, obviously pieces that are not there anymore. Kenneth Faried no longer there. He was a big piece for them. Also, Jusuf Nurkic no longer on that team as he is in Portland right now. This might be shocking, but I'm going to go with Frank here.
Oh, that's a good pick. That's probably what I would have taken.
The reason why is like, because in my mind, I was thinking kind of like Markelle Fultz, like how far is Frank going to fall? Because really it was his offensive game needed to develop at the time. He was really good defensively. So, like, if he goes to this Denver team, they don't have to worry about his offense. Like, he can just strictly be the defensive guard next to Jamal Murray. Let Jamal Murray do his thing, and you still have Jokic out there where Jokic, let's be honest though, this was Jokic in his second year. He was in his second year of the season. Jamal Murray was a rookie. So this would have just been, hey, let's add another young guy, defensive young guy, to grow with Jokic and Murray.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick at all. I like it. 25 was the Sixers. Ready for this one? It was Andrzej Pasicniks. I remember that guy because he was supposed to come over for years and he never did. Yeah, and then he finally did once it passed, I guess. Yeah, it's just taking BPA. I think Thomas Bryant, obviously, he had his injury issues this year. Obviously, hope he gets well better, but he's a solid backup NBA center. He's questionable on the defensive end, but he's able to stand in the dunker spot, the best spot on the court, and catch lobs. And he's a good rebounder, so I think late value is pretty good, and him falling this far probably should have went a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's the next pick.
Well, it's the Blazers, but
is it? I thought it was from.
No, it's the Blazers. It was Caleb Swanigan
Oh,
originally.
you're right. So it's the
Hopefully, Caleb
Blazers.
Swanigan gets well too. By the way, apparently he's dealing with some issues, and he's over 400 pounds now. So
What the fuck?
yeah, he's
over
dealing with
400 pounds?
that is the report, and he's dealing with some issues. So I hope he's all right. There's a whole story
Man.
on it yesterday. So
Damn, I did
Hope he's
not
right.
hear about that. Who was the Blazers pick in our redraft already?
the Blazers
Didn't they
already
have a
took
pick?
Lauri Markkanen.
That's right. So they got Lauri Markkanen. Let me look at their two guards before I go ahead and because there's nobody that was drafted that is on our board that should be like obviously picked here, right?
No, now we're kind of just in the range. You're
Mhm.
picking who you like.
I'm gonna go Josh Hart.
He already went.
Did he? To who?
You tried to draft him twice after he went. I took him with the Bucks at
You're right.
17.
Fuck. I really wanted him. Oh, now I gotta look. You're not gonna take Ivan Reb.
I
Yeah,
mean, you're
really-
throwing something out like a chalkboard at this point, so you can't really go wrong.
Were there any notable I'm not even fucking like I haven't even looked at the undrafteds.
I was Chris Boucher, and that's about it.
You know what? I'm just gonna do it for the memes at this point. Luke Cornett.
Good pick.
Luke
Good pick.
Cornett, undrafted in 2017. He's gonna be a Portland Trailblazer. Fuck it. Just because. Just
okay.
because.
Hey, he probably is the best available, honestly.
Really? Really?
I mean, if who else is left, honestly?
That says a lot. Like, I'm trying to see. Josh Jackson hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, I took him.
Did you? You did.
Yes.
You did. I'm an idiot.
One day you'll understand.
I didn't hear. I thought. Did you take Justin Jackson?
No.
That's who I
took
thought
that.
you meant. I thought you meant
No,
Justin
yeah.
Jackson then. Because like, is Justin Jackson better? Is Justin Patton better than Cornette? DJ Wilson. These are all guys that were. Oh. I'm gonna change that pick. Not Luke Cornett.
Too late.
No. This can get changed because you haven't made your next pick. It's gonna be Harry Giles.
Okay.
Yeah, just because Giles, yes, injury concerns, but let's be honest, he's probably better than Luke Cornett. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's fair enough. At 27, the Lakers originally took Kyle Kuzma. That would have been a steal. I'll take another undrafted. I'll dip in. I'm going to take PJ Dozier. I think he's actually having a very solid year. Again, I know you probably haven't heard of him, but hey, he's having a very solid year in Denver, and he's another one of their very important bench pieces that helps their rotation. So I think he's a good pick.
Who did I have the Lakers take it to? Bam Adebayo?
Correct. Yep. So they end up with PJ Dozier and Bam Adebayo. And the Jazz come up at 28. We've had them take Derek White already, and in the original draft at this position, it was Tony Bradley.
Oh, it's a fucking Jazz pick here. Okay, say who the Jazz drafted again?
Tony Bradley.
Okay. Fuck it, Frank Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going with it. Like, I'm just going with a guard at this point, like the best guard off the board, even though that's not even a sexy pick.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's not really many players left.
Yeah.
29 is the Spurs. They originally took Derek White, another solid pick. For the memes, I'm going to take cash considerations. Is he the best player
that's what
available?
I was going to do with the Lakers.
No, sorry. Is he the best player available? No, but I'm going to steal cash considerations.
I was going to have him be the fucking final pick of the draft.
Because I want the meme on my pick, so I'm taking Josh.
I love how we were thinking the same goddamn thing. I'm like the Lakers, like fuck it, cash considerations, right?
Jordan Bell, cash considerations.
I'm trying to think.
At 30, the Lakers originally took Josh Hart with this pick.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Now you don't get cash considerations because he already went because I wanted the meme.
Fuck. Luke Cornett then. Just because.
Okay.
Just because. Like all the other picks I could take, I wouldn't fucking like. At all.
All right. Let me I'll read through quickly.
Could you imagine if we do a second round redraft? Like
what? No.
This draft would be like. Bleh.
I'll read through quickly our redraft so that people who weren't here.
Actually, so give me a second.
Okay.
Give me un momento, because what I will do is, let me take that off. Go ahead, Jake.
All right, so we had the Sixers at 1 taking Jason Tatum. Originally, obviously, Markelle Fultz. I'm not going to say every pick, but number 2, like who they picked. But number 2, the Lakers took Bam Adebayo. In our redraft, 3, the Celtics took Donovan Mitchell. 4, the Suns took De'Aaron Fox. 5, the Kings took Jonathan Isaac. 6, the Magic took Lonzo Ball. 7, the Bulls ended up with an actual good 4 in John Collins. The Knicks at 8 take OG Anunoby. Again, actually ending up with a good player and not Frank. 9, the Mavs take Jared Allen. 10, the Blazers take Lauri Markkanen. 11, the Hornets take Markelle Fultz, a 10-spot drop from the original draft, obviously the number 1 pick originally. 12, the Pistons end up with the moist one, Malik Monk. 13, the Jazz take Derek White. 14, the Heat take Zach Collins. He would fit right into that Heat culture, Zach Collins. Hopefully he wouldn't end up like Myers Leonard, though. 16, the Wolves take Monte Morris. 17, the Bucks take Josh Hart. 18, the Pacers take Dylan Brooks. 19, the Hawks take Chris Boucher. 20, the Kings take Luke Kennard. 21, the Thunder take Tony Bradley. 22, the Nets take Dennis Smith Jr. 23, Raptors, Josh Jackson. 24, Frank Ntilikina. 25, 76ers, Thomas Bryant. 26, Blazers take Harry Giles. 27, the Lakers take PJ Dozier. 28, the Jazz take Frank Jackson. 29, Spurs, cash considerations. If you don't know the meme, learn it. Lakers at 30 take my guy, Luke Cornett.
Oh, man. What a fun redraft. And by the way, when I say fun redraft, after like pick 20 was not a fun redraft.
I think there were some good players.
You are right. There is a talent drop off in this class.
a little bit. That 1920 spot. That 1920 spot just.
Yeah. There's a huge drop off in this class. Also, if you love mock draft action, you can support us on Patreon right now at the gold or platinum tier. Get to see our next mock draft right now. It is on the Patreon page, or you can subscribe to our YouTube page, MVP Sports. Monday, 10:30 in the morning Central Time, will be our premiere of our next mock draft on the channel. The next one was done by myself. I think I did a pretty good job, Jake. Don't mean to pat myself on the back for this one, but I think I didn't fuck this mock draft up.
You just rigged it, but yeah, you didn't fuck it up.
I didn't rig it. I literally gave you video evidence.
Yeah, it was probably like the third time you simmed it 5 times.
It was not the third time. But if you want to join the Discord and deal with people like Jake, come on in and join the Discord.
Lovely people.
We are lovely. It is the greatest community in the universe. I say that each and every time. Link down below in the description or ! Discord gets you that link. If you want to support us again, patreon.com/MVPvids. Remember, we're on Twitch now for 2 more days, Thursday and Friday, before we go over to YouTube full time on Monday. So go ahead and subscribe to us at YouTube MVP Sports. That's going to do it for us. Dave and Soapy will be here tomorrow talking more NBA for you. Hopefully there's actual news. They can talk about play-in tournament stuff because the actual first round of the Mickey Mouse tournament will be over. Hopefully the Warriors win tonight. But that's going to do it for us. We will be back tomorrow. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
LeBron's the GOAT.